island. Mr. Johnson took his class away from the wreck. They went to a big house called Sea Bay House. Mrs. May went too. The children were excited. Sea Bay House was near the sea and there were lots of interesting things to do. Everyone unloaded the bus. Some of these bags and the case were heavy, said Mr. Johnson. We're only here for a week. Mrs. May found a toothbrush. Whose toothbrush is this? She asked. Oh dear, said Biff. I think it's mine. Mr. Johnson showed the boys their room. You be sleeping in here, he said. I want the top bunk, shouted Chip. No, I want the top bunk, shouted Wilf. Mr. Johnson tossed a coin. Heads or tails, he said. Mr. Johnson gave the children a map. Then he took the children for a long walk. After a while, they stopped for a rest. The children looked at their maps. Mr. Johnson showed them the places they could see. Your map's upside down, Biff, said Wilf. Nadine pointed to a little island out at sea. What's that island called? He asked. Look on your maps, said Mr. Johnson. Who can tell me what the island is called? Chip and Anina knew. It's called Green Island, they said. Everyone was hungry after the long walk. When they got back, it was time for supper. The children served the food, and then they helped wash up. I don't like washing up at home, said Wilf, but it's fun washing up here. That night the children were tired, but they couldn't sleep. Chip kept telling jokes and making silly noise. In the end, Mr. Johnson came in. He was cross with Chip. I'll send you to bed at 6 o'clock tomorrow if I hear any more noise. The next day, the children did a beach study. Some children worked with Mr. Johnson. They made squares on the beach and looked at everything in each square. They found a shell with a crab inside it. It's called a hermit crab, she said. Some children worked with Mrs. May. They looked carefully in all the rock pools. Nadine and Wilf caught a large crab. Look at this, they called. Mrs. May showed them how to hold the crab. We'll look at it, then we'll let it go, she said. Chip and Anina found a seagull. It couldn't fly. Oh dear, said Mr. Johnson. It can't fly because it has oil on its feathers. Oil is hard to get off, so be careful, everyone. Mind you don't get oil on you. How do we get the oil of the seagull? Asked Chip. Mr. Johnson took the children to see Miss Honey. If anyone can help the seagull, Miss Honey can, said Mr. Johnson. This poor old girl needs a clean, said Miss Honey. She looked at Anina and Chip. And so do you, she said. Oil is terrible stuff," said Miss Honey. "You can see what it does to animals and birds if it's spilled into the sea." "It is terrible," said Mrs. May. "I'm having trouble getting it off Chip and Anina. I feel really sorry for the seagull," said Chip. "What will happen to the seagull?" asked Wilf. "The feathers will be damaged," said Miss Honey. "So first we've cleaned the oil off. Then we'll look over it for a week or two. It has to get strong again, and its feathers have to get better. Then we'll let it go." Miss Honey looked after all kinds of animals. She showed the children an actor. Then she gave it some fish. "She's a sea otter," she said. "I called her Fiona. She was hurt by a boat. Now she's better. I'm going to let her go." "Sea otters live on Green Island," said Miss Honey. "If you like, you can come to the island with me and watch me let Fiona go." Miss Honey had a boat. "There's room for everyone," she said. "If we're lucky, we may see some more sea otter." The children went across to Green Island. In the boat, Miss Honey stopped a little way from the island. The children looked carefully. Suddenly, Anina pointed to some rocks. "I can see another otter," she said. "Look, everyone! There aren't many sea otters left," said Mrs. May. So that was a wonderful thing to see. Miss Honey let Fiona go. The otter dived into the sea and swam toward the rocks. "Will Fiona be all right now?" asked Wilf. "I hope so," said Miss Honey. The end. See you next time. You can see the next video and you will know more about the Green Island. Thank you, everyone. Hey, see you next time.